The month of April started off stressful. I felt overwhelmed by a new daily routine and a to-do list that seemed to never end. Then I remembered one of my favorite quotes. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. So I did my best to slow down and notice the small and simple moments each day. We enjoyed backyard bonfires, and lots of downtime on a picnic blanket, enjoying the return of warmer days. What you got there?
I got flowers for the ladies.
For all the important ladies in our life. Hey!
You're alive!
Hi.
Hey!
Hi there. Oh, how pretty. Hi. Did Lindy make that?
That'll look pretty.
Hi.
Did you make? Hi, darling.
Sit down, relax, fondue.
Cinnamon, take the shot and then eat the orange.
Okay.
Instantly.
Yeah, that orange totally neutralizes that.
Just spread your cinnamon all over.
Sorry.
You missed that part.
You're gonna get in trouble.
This isn't a big
I said, put the orange in your mouth. Put the orange in your mouth, not us.
Whew. I just got my COVID vaccine. The first one. And so did my hubby. How do you feel?
I feel like $1 million. I feel like after I get the second dose, I'm going to be able to go outside again.
But most of April was spent in the garden. So I thought I'd give you a tour of my backyard so you can kind of see what changes over the month and over the course of summer. We'd like to expand our back patio eventually and pour concrete along this section so that we have more room to sit at a table. And then I was thinking along this line, we'd put cabinets in there with maybe concrete countertops so we had some shelf space if we entertained outside. I'd also like to build a pergola over it with some retractable curtains so we can have some more shade in the morning. Over here, I would like to put in some raspberry bushes, and my husband said he's going to build a trellis for me. I already bought 9 raspberry bushes of 3 different varieties. I'm going to place right along here. I've never grown raspberries before, so I have 100% no idea what I'm doing. I got one that's supposed to fruit earlier on in the summer, and the other 2 are autumn. I'm also going to be incorporating a lot more veggies this year. I'm going to plant heirloom tomatoes all along the back there that can grow up the trellis, and maybe some pumpkin in there. And then along the front, I'm thinking about doing some jalapenos and maybe onions. I'll have to move the mint out of that planter because it's overtaking that area. The aspen grew about 2 feet last year, and I can't wait to see how much it grows this year. The honeysuckle grew a lot last year, and the hummingbirds loved it. It's along the right-hand trellis there, and I plan to plant another one in that center, and then eventually climbing roses, but I don't think that'll be this year. My husband wants to build up the turf on the grass that's around the fire pit because it's very uncomfortable to sit on, so I'm looking forward to that. There used to be a huge tree on the other side of our fence, right in this section, that gave us a lot of privacy. Since it's not there anymore, we plan on planting some sort of juniper or cedar bush that will eventually grow up and give us some more privacy. And eventually I'd like to just bring the rock all the way to the edge of the planter bed. Since there's a water faucet there, it's kind of hard to mow around. And I think it would be pretty to plant chamomile in front of it. Moving on to this back garden bed, I plan on making this mostly a tea garden, but I do want to incorporate a few more privacy bushes, so whether that's the cedar or the juniper. This is a burning bush along the back, and lavender and some hosta. Another hosta right there. I plan on moving the mint and lemon balm over here somewhere, and then sprinkling in chamomile throughout this section. Here is an area of my lavender, and I'd like to have some sort of privacy blocker back there, and then maybe move some of the lavender over here by the hosta. That's another little lavender there, just to kind of fill in there. I'm also thinking about planting some echinops right around here somewhere. As you can see, we really need the privacy blocker right there. These little lavenders seeded themselves last year. There's actually 3 different plants in there. So I'm gonna have to kind of space them out so that they can grow a little bit better this year. But it makes me happy thinking that they seeded themselves. I feel like they really enjoy the backyard to do that. Watch out, here comes Nosy Gozy. He loves rolling around back here in the garden. I always heard cats didn't like lavender, but he likes to sit there and watch the bees buzz in the lavender all day. It's hard to tell, but that's a really big hosta back there. And this is a lilac bush that has white blossoms on it. And there's also some more lavender right in front. Shocking, I know. My mom once asked me if I had too much lavender in my yard. And there's another hosta, and basically this whole section I'm going to put in like basil, some thyme, catnip. The catnip didn't do very well last year in the beds. I think it got too hot. So this area gets lots of shade, so I'm hoping it'll do well over here this year. Idaho gets really hot afternoons, so sometimes it can be too much, even for full sun. And I also plan to plant some alyssum right along there, which I've never grown before, but I love. So this is a dwarf lilac bush, and it has purple blossoms, but since it's a dwarf, it only grows like 6 feet tall, which is still going to be a good privacy blocker. And I bought it last year, so this is its 2nd season. It didn't flower much last year, so I'm really excited. I hope it does this year. And you guessed it, more lavender. So I'm thinking about putting a couple more privacy blockers right here, cedar or junipers. I'd also eventually like to put a greenhouse over on this side, and I'd probably put rock along that edge, and then I could take that dish off and fit a greenhouse back there. But I don't think that's going to be this year. And this section I want to turn into a cut garden. So I'm going to dig up the grass right around there and put in some good compost and dirt. I'm not quite sure the layout I want to do, but I'm thinking honeysuckle along that, and then maybe another privacy blocker. I don't know if you've noticed, but we like our privacy. I was thinking about doing some lattice along the back there. We have super nice neighbors, but it's just kind of nice to know that not everyone's staring at you when you're hanging out in your backyard. I know I definitely want to plant some dahlias and peonies in here, probably more echinops, and sunflowers, and maybe cosmos. Okay, so that is my little tour of my backyard. I hope that you thought that was interesting and not super boring. And here's Gozer, still hanging out, rolling in the rocks. Now I'll take you around and show you all the projects that I was able to check off during the month of April. overall, I had a lot of fun digging in the dirt, enjoying the sunrise, and enjoying the beauty of spring. Wishing you the most magical month of May. Lots of love to you all, and remember, as always, stay peculiar.